Wondering how you can become better at running your business? Entrepreneurship can be stressful. There's too much to do and not enough time. If you're isolated in your daily decisions, have no fear. Success and balance are possible. Welcome to the Small Business Answer Man podcast, where you master the art of running a successful business using practical advice from experts who want to help you succeed. Now, here's your host, Gary Wilbers.
Welcome. We're glad to have you back again this week for another great podcast. I told you in this fourth quarter, we were going to give you practical tips to really help make a difference today that will make a big difference in 2025. Today, I'm going to go it solo because I want to share with you, how are you doing on your productivity? That's my question. If you really took a serious look, how are you really accomplishing your tasks, your goals, the things that are most important to you? So today, let's talk about that, because I will tell you, I hear all the time from people that people feel overwhelmed. They're stressed out. Too many emails, an email inbox with over 1,000. Today, let's solve those problems and really take a look at how we can really be focused in to really get our best work done. And I'm going to share with you from what I call the full focus system, which is I am a certified pro of the full focus planning system. And I want to help you in this area because I tell you, people are having trouble with things like drop tasks, lack of direction, too much busyness, and really taking their distance dreams and their goals that they want to achieve. They can't feel like they can't accomplish them. But we have to do it by looking at the bigger picture. How can we focus on what really matters to create what we call the double win? It's about having vision, alignment, and a mission to be able to achieve what you want. So what I want to share with you is a concept I call the leveraging of the power of three. It's the quarterly big three, weekly big three, and your daily big three. We want you to achieve more by actually doing less. Did you hear me? I want you to achieve more by doing less. So we have to do this by setting up a system. And I believe the full focus planning system is one of the best that's out there. And we'll share a link that if you're interested in getting more information, you can get it after this into this podcast. But the first thing you have to do is you have to decide your daily big three. What's the three tasks that matter the most each day? That's 1 to 3. You don't always have to have 3. But what's the most important thing? Today, for me, it was cutting this podcast so I would have this available for you to listen to on the appropriate time and allowing my staff to be able to do the editing and doing the work they needed to do. So that was one of my most important tasks. But we go from our daily big three to then what's the weekly big three? When we do that weekly preview, we look at what's the most important 3 things that I need to get accomplished this week that will help me move forward to my goals that I have, either for my company or if I'm an individual, for my business or for myself. And this can be personal or professional, those big 3 things that you need to get done this week. So the third one is your quarterly big three. Looking at all your goals and dreams that you have and things you want to accomplish this next quarter, what is most important that you get accomplished over this next quarter? The 3 most important things. Decide during the quarterly big three, what am I going to spend my time on? Where am I going to leverage my high priorities each day to really help me achieve that goal? So by the end of the quarter, I either have moved it forward or that I've even accomplished it. And remember, it's professional and personal commitments when I'm talking about this, because when we are running a business, our professional life is part of our personal life. Our personal life is part of our professional life. So really, we have to decide, because if we don't decide, you know what happens? We get drawn into what I call the gravel. All the small little things, all those emails, the social media, all those unnecessary things. And that just sucks the life out of us because it takes all of our time away. We have to set that priority of what we want to do. Now, I want you to know that a lot of people will have objections to this. Right now, you're probably thinking, Gary, that sounds great, but that won't work for me. Well, it will work, but you have to really change some of your limiting beliefs because really what it is, productivity is not about doing more things. It's about doing the right things, doing the things that are most important, not the things that are urgent. So the thing we have to do, how to choose the big three, we don't have to overthink it. What I can do today to move myself forward, to move myself to those highest priorities. What could I do this week that would help me get one step closer to closing out that major project or selling that major client that I want to sell? The power of three gives you that consistent focus. So I want you to think about what are the 1 to 3 things daily, weekly, and quarterly that we want to be able to accomplish. And of course, we have to set smarter goals. And let's talk about this because Michael Hyatt came up with this. You've heard of SMART goals before, but smarter goals are different because people abandon their goals within the first week of accomplishment, over 25%. So 1/4 of people abolish those right out the way. But we can give you the step-by-step approach to helping you achieve them. Number one, you got to write your goals down. You got to be specific, of course. That's the first S is specific. Focus is the power and it gives us that direction. But of course, it has to be measurable. You've got to be able to establish the criteria for the success, but you also want it to be actionable. That's the A side of it. Actionable is what primary action will you take to start getting that? And it helps if you start with a strong action verb. Then let's talk about R. R is risky. Not that it's just relevant. Instead, it's risky. It allows you not to get bored. Instead, it takes you out of your comfort zone. And then the T, of course, is time bound. You got to set a deadline for when you're going to reach it. But the E is for exciting. Again, we're doing smarter goals. E is exciting. It gets me excited. I get up. I want to accomplish this. I want to go after it and make it happen. And then the R is for relevant. Is it relevant of what I want to get accomplished and what I feel is most important each day? So when we do that, we recommend that you create some professional goals as well as personal goals. Remember, as you get into it, the key is what will help me. What actions do I need to take to allow me to accomplish that? Now, I'm going to share some more with you as we come back, but I want to take this short commercial break and share with you a message that I think is important to you. Are you ready to optimize your small business? You need a plan. Take our free 10-minute business assessment and get a customized plan to grow your small business. This assessment evaluates the 6 critical areas of your business: leadership, marketing, sales, products, operations, and cash flow, so you can pinpoint where to focus on to get your maximum impact. Whether you're looking to generate more revenue, increase profits, or just run your business more effectively, this plan will help you take the right steps. And the best part is powered by Business Made Simple, a trusted resource for small business success. Don't wait. Take the free business assessment today. The link is in the show notes. Get your custom plan and start optimizing your business today. And now back to the show. So we were talking about the goals. Why? What's our motivation? What's our habit? What's our key motivations to get it done? What's our next steps? What's going to be your reward? And ultimately, do you need to create a street tracker, meaning tracking device that you're accomplishing that? If you want to start exercising, how many days a week? When are you going to schedule that into your calendar? Be very specific on what you set yourself up for to be able to create that success. So now, I think that's the key. Talking about smarter goals, talking about our weekly, we talked about the leveraging of power of 3 of quarterly big 3, weekly big 3, and daily big 3. But also we've got to talk about how do we maximize our energy through self-automation. So this becomes very important because you want it to become easy. If it's hard to do, you will quit. And then you'll be one of those people, that 25% of people that abandon their goals within the first week. You know why? Because it's hard. So you won't do it. So what do we got to do? We've got to create a self-automation process that makes this personal behavior happen. So here's what we want you to think about is time energy paradox. Time is fixed, and energy flexes. Time is fixed and energy flexes. Energy flexes can be recharged when we create good habits and behaviors. Benefit, increased mental energy. It gives us better problem solving and creativity, greater productivity. It also improves well being and greater goal achievement. Those are 5 reasons why it's so important to allow our energy to be flexed and recharged. But we have to create a habit by working and creating routines to the subconscious of the brain when behavior happens. Let me give you an example. You've probably heard about the habit loop: activation, trigger, response, reward, repetition. The activation trigger, it's a cue that activates the habit. Well, for me, that is an exercise. I put my clothes out, they're all set out, my shoes, my towel, everything is set out the night before. That's my activation trigger because it's the cue that activates the habit that I'm going to get up this morning and exercise. Yes, I was up at 4:45 this morning for a body pump class at 5:30. I didn't have to think about what am I going to wear. It was all laid out. That's my activation trigger. Then let's talk about in response. Any action that becomes a daily habit. My daily habit is exercise. Now, I don't do it every day, but I do it probably 5 out of 7 days most weeks. So if I'm going to do that, my response is when I see that close out, I know that I need to exercise. Okay. So then I have already planned into my schedule that time that I'm going to exercise. So that's my activation trigger and stuff. And my response is getting the exercise done. My reward is tie your habit to a reward, intrinsic or extrinsic. Well, I'll be honest, my reward for exercising is my increased energy that it gives me. I know it makes me feel better. And it also, because I've had my subconscious brain part of it, that when I get it accomplished, check. It's one of my things that I get accomplished right out the gate. And I know that I've got it done. So that's my reward. Repetition. You must complete many times before it comes a habit. Sometimes they say 30 to 60 times before it comes a habit. Consistently, are you doing that? Well, I've created a habit maker. I'll share it with you in show notes that you can get the download. It's got 100 squares on it. It's a Jerry Seinfeld message. You know how he became a great comedian? He said you have to write material every day. So he would check mark every day he wrote material, and he started a chain. And when he got to 30, guess what? He kept going. And he had to do 100 in a row. When you start doing 100 in a row and you do it on the days you said you will, guess what? It will become a habit. I've been exercising since November of 2002. Because why? I've made a consistent effort. The only time I take off is when I go on vacation. And normally I'm active on vacation. So I'm telling you, this can happen for you, but you have to have a repetition of getting to make it a habit. The way we do it in the Full Focus Planner system, let me share that with you, is we define what you want to achieve. We choose that target behavior, and then we state the frequency and duration of the habit. So I told you, exercise I don't do every day. But I know that I want to do it 4 or 5 times a week. So I schedule that into my calendar. So I have that frequency of duration of the habit. And then I clarify the habit loop. What am I going to get out of it? And then we determine how to track that progress and state the compliance to be able to achieve it. And then we clarify key motivations. Why do I want to do that? I want to stay healthy. I want to stay strong. I also want to feel good and gives me more energy. And then ultimately we complete the habit. We get to check it off in our list of things that we get to do. So realize those are things that will help you on this process as you're setting your goals. Now, we've talked about key priorities and what we want to accomplish. So I want to just cover a couple more things and then we're going to wrap this up. So I want you to think about what will be the objections for you starting to do these habits. You've got to overcome them before you even start. Otherwise, you won't continue it. So really realize what's your objections. Also, make sure you really talk about that habit loop. What is going to be your cue? Okay, that's my clothes getting out. What's going to be my action that I'm going to take? What is going to be my trigger that's there? And then what's the reward from that? So when we do that, it allows us to achieve them. Now, a couple other points that I want to give you real quickly that you need to think about. What is your morning ritual like? Do you know the most successful people have a morning ritual? I know what mine is. I get up in the morning, I've got a process that I go through. It takes about 1 hour, but your morning ritual could be as small as 10 to 15 minutes. But what's going to allow you to get your best results in that morning ritual? I also believe in a workday startup ritual. Do you go straight to email? Guess what? You're not going to be very productive if you do. Instead, what are the things you need to do? How about a workday shutdown ritual? And then how about an evening ritual before you go to bed? What are those things that you do? Remember, rituals are allows you to create routines that allows you to get more success. Most people don't have them. Why do you think they don't get any success? They don't have rituals that allow them to get that success they have. So I want you to think about those and review those. The other thing I want you to think of is about your ideal week. I'm really into this, and this next year I'm going to be changing mine up some. But what is my ideal week? Ideal week is where you're time blocking your time and setting your week up the way you want it to work for you versus working for someone else. I'll give you an honest answer. I'm a coach, a business coach, but I don't let my clients schedule whenever they want on my calendar. I prefer to have my coaching clients in the afternoon, so I have my schedule blocked accordingly. I know I'm more productive in the morning being creative, creating things like this for people like you that's watching this, and I'm creating this podcast and sharing this on YouTube so others can see it to be able to help them. So I create that ideal week of times that I'm most productive. And then I believe in mega batching. Mega batching is where, like when I do my videos for social media, I cut like 12 of them at a time. I cut them all in the same day. Because why? I'm in that mode, I'm in that operetta that I want to get it done. So I am able to complete that and get that done. So one of the challenges I give you, think about how do you want your ideal week set up as you go through it. Now, as I finish up today, the big thing I want you to think about is what type of planning system do you need? Do you have one? If you don't have one, I would suggest you check out the Full Focus Planner. We've got a link in the website there. And I actually do some trainings, and I'll have some trainings coming up in January that I will share with you. And if you'd like more information on those trainings, we've got a link in the show notes where you can go to. You can send us an email, and we will put you on the list. And one of them will be Zoom, so I can get anybody that would like to be in that class. I'll share it with you. And then I'm going to have one in-person class in January also that I'll be sharing. So you'll have to be close to me to be able to reach that one. But Zoom would allow any of you to provide that. So that link will be in show notes. So if you'd like to join us for that Full Focus class, it's 2 days and it's 2 hours a day. If you do the in-person class, it's 4 hours, 1 day. So I'll send you that information. But if you're interested, please click on the link in the show notes and let us know you're interested. And we will send you an email as we get those dates set up. Now, the big thing to get success, what is your quarterly preview, weekly preview, and daily preview? And what's your top 3 things you've got to do? If you do that, you're going to see that you're more prepared to achieve the goals and dreams that you have. And that's the important part. We're going into 2025. Some of you are getting excited about setting goals, but unless you put a system in place to be more productive, you're not going to get there. I hear from people all the time. I've got over 1,000 emails in my inbox. That stresses you out. What can you do to really put a system in place that you can handle your email? Maybe you need to have somebody else take care of it if you're a business owner and you only get the most important ones. You have to decide what system works, but I'm telling you, you must have a system. Remember, they say if you plan to fail, you're going to fail. But if you fail to plan, you're going to fail. So that becomes the key. What are the changes that you're going to make? I believe planning is one of the most important things a business owner and an entrepreneur can do. And I want to help you on this process. So please check out the show notes. And if you're interested in that planning class, we'd be glad to have you in it. If not, set up your system. Figure out what will work for you. But I know you needed to be doing at least quarterly planning, weekly planning, and daily planning to have the success you want. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast. Please share it, like it, let others know about it. And we're going to come back next week with another great podcast to help you get prepared to make 2025 your best year yet. Thanks for joining me. Make it a great day. I'll see you soon.
That's all the time we have for this week. To continue your journey, head over to smallbusinessanswerman.biz to access the tools and resources mentioned in today's show. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and share it with someone who would benefit from listening. That's smallbusinessanswerman.biz. Until next time, remember, when you find the right solutions, your business grows, and you get your time back.